Cool. Okay. First time live on YouTube, so we'll see how it goes. Just make sure all my other like little notifications and stuff are off so that I don't get distracted, and I'll give people a few minutes to come in. I know that this is like, it seems super impromptu, but I've been wanting to do this for a while. And normally when I do live segments with a guest or some kind of like Q&A for something or out live, I give it a couple minutes for folks to show up and to see that it is working correctly. Yeah, first folks in the chat, hey. Yay, people showing up, good. I thought this would be really cool. I love being live. I know that a lot of you guys know me like from YouTube and don't necessarily hang out. Most of the stuff that I do is actually live on Twitch TV when I do gaming, but I thought it would be super cool to try to go live because you guys are a different audience, and kind of say what's up and share a little bit more about myself and what I do and like what my channel is all about, and answer a lot of the questions that I get from y'all on YouTube that you might not get to see when I'm live on like Twitch or IRL at events and stuff like that. So hey, everybody in the chat, it's a fun Thursday. I hit 40,000 here on YouTube a while ago, and I thought this would be like a cool thing to do. Yeah, first time live on YouTube. I would like to do this some more. And so this is also not just a cool, like, thank you for 40K and like some questions and ask stuff, but it's also testing how I like this and how we can make it cool for the future. So I think this would be cool. And yeah, you can see my hair is growing out a little bit. I look like a tennis ball. I prepared a list of questions that I get asked like all the time, whether that's in here on the comments or in DMs on social media or on my stream all the time. And I'm going to answer these. I have them like kind of pre-recorded. If you guys like have questions for me that I can answer, I could do like a little bit of it live too, because I love being live. I don't like recording myself. I don't like editing myself. I hate all that nonsense, but I do like being live. The tank on the desk, you will meet him very soon. That's part of the answer to one of the questions. His name is Trax. Hey, yes, I will. I recognize some of you guys from stream and from Discord. Yeah, 40K, I know. That's a perfect opportunity for jokes. Yeah. Okay, good. So here we go. We have about 100 people, which is, that's all right. That's all right. I'm going to give it like a couple more minutes as folks start to come in. Just a minute. So if you guys are following, normally you guys follow for tank event coverage or tank museum coverage, or sometimes some World of Tanks content from back in the day, or any tank videos and sort of like pure history content if you guys are here from the Hillary Doyle videos or the videos with Nick Moran, the chieftain from Wargaming. The chat doesn't have mods, and I don't know how to mod it, so we're gonna find out. F it, we'll do it live. So I have again our pre-recorded questions, and if you guys start asking stuff that I have answers to, I'm pretty good at just like taking care of it. So this will be fun. And yes. If I was a cult leader planning to take over the world, which tank would I use based on cuteness? Well, the cutest tank is probably that Panzer 1L that looks. Ooh. Or I think that the Panzer 2J is really cute. Also, there's a lot of cute tanks. The Chaffee is super cute. Can't get over that. All right. So, this will be fun. So the first one that I get is, where are you from? So if it's not, I always think that this is kind of obvious. I'm American. And I moved around a lot. My father is ex-military. He was in the Army as an artilleryman in Vietnam, as well as some other roles. And I have sort of a military family. My mom's an Army brat. And we moved around a lot in the US, and I moved around a lot for work beforehand. So I love to travel. I love Europe. I've been there several times for either just travel for fun when I was younger or for like tank event type stuff. This is great. I love to travel as much travel as I can possibly do. I love Canada. I love the UK. I want to travel as much as I can. There's a lot of places to go, and I love being able to meet people from World of Tanks and like kind of the history community out at these things. So I I love it. But I am American at heart, and there's so much to see and do here at home with regards to Tanks Museum, History Museum type stuff. So that is where I do the vast majority of my streams from, is around here. So I was definitely planning on going to Tank Fest before Corona. That would have been my like 5th or 6th Tank Fest by now. I love Tank Fest. I love the Bobbyton Tank Museum. That was the first like big tank event I ever went to, and it blew my mind. And I don't want to miss another Tank Fest like ever. I was really bummed to see that they, you know, that's how it is this year though, right? That's how it is. It's best for everyone's safety that we don't do stuff like that. So I get it. I'll wait till next year. I'm fine. Am I moving to YouTube? Not officially. I have still just like my pre-recorded content will be here, and maybe live every so often, but I thought this would be really fun just to have a little spot answering people's questions, because I know not everybody from here goes over to Twitch and watches like the gaming content. I'm not German. Sophie Line is, my name is obviously Sophie, and that was a nickname that I got traveling around in Germany. I have some German friends and I lived there for a little while, so that's what they kind of called me after a bit, so I stole that one for a username, but I'm not German myself. I do love the country. It's a beautiful country, and I love the food. I can eat my way through Germany. But I'm not from there originally. So the next question that I get all the time is, how do you get into tanks? Especially like, you know, being a girl, I understand that it's not often seen. There's a lot of chicks that dig military history though. You'd be surprised. Not all of them are, I guess, you know, visible content creators, but there's a lot of women that love military history. There's a lot of women that are into World War II, into World War I. And I loved military history from a really young age. When I was little kid, I was super into airplanes, and I remember going to museums and stuff and really digging it. My father, as I said, is ex-Army, and he just kind of let me be me. There was none of this like, oh, this is for boys. He was just like, cool, my kid likes the same shit I do, you know? So as I grew up, I just kept on with it. And one of my very first video games that I remember playing was with my dad. I was probably 4, Red Baron 2, and then A-10 Tank Killer. So video gaming and military history games and stuff are super part of my life and lifestyle, and always have been. When I was about 8 years old, I went to a living history thing with my school, like a little field trip, and there was this die-cast Panzer IV. I talked about this for like real short in my top 5 video with Bovington. It's like, it was super small, little die-cast ones that had little wheels on the bottom, and I had to have it. And I spent my lunch money for the week at this field trip on this little. My history teacher's like, "You don't want that." I'm like, "Yes, I do." And so that's how I first got like I got bit by the tank bug specifically when I was probably about 8. I still have it. It's in storage, and I have this like bigger chonky one. This is the tank you guys always see on stream and in some of my videos. Oh, what a chunker. This is Trax. I got this one in college. I'm not allowed to go on eBay under the influence of anything anymore because I will spend money on stuff like this. This is a Panzer IV. You can see it's got the long gun, and it's actually in travel position. It's one of these remote control ones that shoots airsoft pellets, and it's super fun. So my dad thought I should paint it, so I did, and he got super into these too. And he has a Panzer III, so whenever I go home, and then we had a yard, we'd roll them around, and that was fun. So that is my favorite one. Again, my favorite tank is still the Panzer IV. It was the first one, and I think that its design is really, really interesting. How it was used effectively from its entry after production through to the end of the war. Obviously, it had its limitations, but was still effective in its role. Kind of the Sherman of the Germans, as they say. Sort of a versatile type of thing, and I like that. I received the Milhist Visualized. And Bismarck, they had a translation of like a medium tank, not a manual. My brain escapes me. Anyway, they had a really great translation of like a field guide for the tanker, for the medium tank. So it was really cool to be able to kind of learn about how the Panzer IV would have been used by the crews and the organization of everything. That was super cool. I love continuing to learn. There's a lot to learn about these, and the more that I can learn, the better. Like, I'm not a tank expert, right? I'm just a tank dork. We tank dorks. I'm not out here like trying to profess that I like know a lot, because there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. And I didn't start looking at tanks very specifically because I really was like super obsessed with World War II when I was in school, but I didn't really study the tanks specifically. It was more like the bigger pictures and the people and kind of what happens in the decisions that were made and kind of how did that affect that, how they make those decisions and why, right? But the field guide, I'll find a link for you. I'll link that after, John. I'll put it on Facebook because I recognize you from there. So the more that I get to see things like that in game as I came through. I started World of Tanks when I was in college. I went to engineering school, and then I worked in the oil field. But I had time. Despite an engineering degree, it can be very intensive, but I always have time for games. And I got into World of Tanks, and that's what sort of started to be like, oh, there's a lot out there that I didn't know about, because I really only cared about the combat stuff. I was like into World War II. I liked the Panzer IV, the Sherman, your Tiger, or your KD-1, but that's kind of it. I didn't know about all these prototype things and kind of the drawn design. I didn't really care about that. If it didn't fight, Sophie didn't care. So World of Tanks kind of got me interested. Like, wait a second, that thing's real, right? Like that thing's real? Okay, cool. So it kind of opened the door to learning a lot more. And I never really studied the tank specifically until I started to get into World of Tanks a little bit deeper with the community and visit my first tank fest and stuff like that. What got me into YouTube? Well, as a creator, as a creator on Twitch, I play PC games. It's mostly World of Tanks, which is where I have my viewer base on Twitch sort of from. And YouTube is just another place to share content. People want to see stuff that isn't necessarily live. And from there, I started doing videos. I think 2016 was kind of where I was like, well, I should do this. And it never really got coordinated till last year. So that's kind of grown. I play primarily sort of military history games. I have played Proscriptum, and I like Hell Let Loose. I'm going to do some streams with that this weekend. I have played War Thunder, and I'm going to do some more with that this weekend. I have a cool announcement by the end of this to share with you guys. So I absolutely love getting involved with the real history. The video games are cool. You're not really going to learn, you should really be learning from books and experts. The games can make that spark, that interest that drives you to go see and study the real thing. And that I love. SnowRunner, yup. I love that one. If they had a World War II version of SnowRunner, and you could be like the truckers of the fronts of old, bruh, I would love that game. So I got my sponsorship as a World of Tanks creator in 2016 officially, and got started with that. So I'm not employed by Wargaming. That's a question that I got. I have the videos that I've done with Nick Moran, the Chieftain, but I am not employed by Wargaming. I'm not paid by Wargaming. I'm a sponsored creator, mostly in the Twitch TV live streaming space. So while they may sponsor trips out for events now and again, I don't work for them. And so I think YouTube is different than the Twitch scene, and I love YouTube and editing my own videos. Nobody likes to hear their own voice, right? I'm no exception. I don't like editing my own stuff. It's also awkward. Live format, this is so much easier for me than just doing a whole video pre-recorded. I don't know. Streaming was awkward in the beginning too, but that's just how it went. And last year I was lucky enough to do filming with Bovington to do one of their top 5s. If you haven't seen that, was awesome. I was incredibly anxious. So if I'm speaking at 1,000,000 miles an hour in that video, you know why? I thought I was gonna throw up by the end of it. I just get nervous being on camera. I know that it looks like I'm super normal public face, type of internet person. I'm not used to this at all. Like I said, I worked into the oil field, and I moved into mental health after that. I went back to school, and now I'm doing this full time due to coronavirus. But I've kind of dug it. I've dug the space. When am I going to go back to Bovington? It kind of depends. We have this pandemic thing occurring, and that's been a bit of a barrier because I don't mind, obviously, to quarantine, but it would be really hard to continue doing live content and editing and stuff like that. I don't have a portable computer I can edit on, so it would be very challenging financially to do nothing in a hotel for 2 weeks and then do content. I have considered visiting battleships, and when things get a little bit more organized with the virus and stuff, I will absolutely be visiting some battleships. Getting back into, when I was a little kid, I was super obsessed with the Bismarck. I think everybody went through that when I was 9. Everybody was into battleships. You can't possibly you can't be into history and not get into battleships. That's just cool. I don't care who you are. But I would love to learn about some more of the naval side of things, because I've been pretty obsessed with the ground stuff. So we want to branch out as we can. I played some Wolfpack on stream a little bit, and that's been fun. So when I started streaming about 6 years ago, it was kind of off of a dare. I had a friend, I used to watch video games live, pro play from different video games. And one of my friends that played with me just sort of casual at the time, he was like, "You'd never do that." And I was like, hell, I wouldn't. And it was sort of on a dare, and then it kind of got fun and ended up kind of getting into sponsorships and stuff like that. And now that it's sort of merged with the real history and not just the games, I really, really love that. American Heritage Museum. Yes, I have been. There's a series of videos that I did with the Chieftain on that. It was only for a day. I flew out there, got there like super late at night. We got up, we filmed, and then I flew home that night. And I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time like in the museums for the museum's sake, but I love it. I want to visit as many museums as I can, big ones, small ones. If you follow me on Twitch and Twitter and Facebook, you'll see I do a lot of fundraisers. I like to use my platform to raise money to help the people who keep the history around for real. So I've raised probably close to $10,000 at this point in the last couple of years for museums. We're about to start another one off this weekend for an airplane restoration project. I think that helping these guys is really, really important. Keeping the history around so that my generation and the next can see it, I think is absolutely vital. And as like an influencer, it's not cool to sit around and pretend you're famous, but if you can use your platform for something good, that's what's worthwhile. So that's what I love to do. Share around what I learned, share where I get to go and what I get to see, and hopefully inspire some other people to get out and see the real history and help along themselves. Like, I think that's awesome. Was I the FE4005? It could probably use some TLC. I did not go inside. No. Have I ever been inside a T-34? Yeah, a few. So, have I played War Thunder? I get asked that all the time as a World of Tanks creator, and I have. I played it back in college, and I have no recollection of that, but there's 3 hours on my Steam. And then recently, I played a little bit, and I played a little bit on stream. I kind of want to get away from the free-to-play model for a little while. I think War Thunder is a game that has a lot of potential, and I like a lot of the gameplay aspects, and I think the vehicles are modeled beautifully. So I'm going to be doing some planes on War Thunder this weekend as part of our charity to support this group right here. I'll link it in the chat. And that'll be on Saturday. So that'll be on my Twitch as well. See if I can find a link. This looks like a really long, crazy link, but that is what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to be playing video games live, as I always do, to support a charity, and I think that will be great. So check that out. I think it's super worthwhile, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's almost fun. Yeah. World of Tanks is a little like that too. So like, I don't know if I could handle like 2 of those games. So would I like to attend part of the Scout Commander's course? Is that a thing? Is that available for civilians? I get asked a lot if I've served. I have not served. Never have I served. So I really, really respect the people in both our military and law enforcement services, and I have supported like veteran support services before. Operation Supply Drop, for example, is an awesome organization. I've done fundraising with them a couple of times. To all my people who have served, you matter. Your stories matter. I want to get out there and help you guys share your stories, preserve your voices. But I myself have not served. Nope. So don't thank me for no service. That ain't me. Go out there and find the folks that did it for real. I would love to find some more and do some more with veterans on YouTube, like interview type of stuff. And that's a project that I have coming up for maybe a little bit later in the year, being able to best record and share like the stuff that really matters, right? Have I thought of going to something like Alto Tankaroo? Sort of. That's a beautiful game. Simulators are really cool. I've seen a little bit of that, both with the flight side, and I've thought about it. I generally play stuff live that's kind of arcade, but I'm always open to something new. I have enough to do just keeping up with World of Tanks, but it's on my radar for sure. Pun intended. I'm not sorry. Do I design my merch? Are there any more merch things? Sometimes I do. I did this one. I dabble in graphic design, but since I'm not a pro, it becomes a bit of a it's a bit harder than it needs to be for a bit less quality of a product than commissioning it. So right now I've been using one of the folks from my community, Deco Noir. He does a really great job with the vehicle art, and so those are the ones that I have. So I would love to continue. This is the newest one. I love the M103. All y'all probably know that by now. So that's that. But I used to design some of it. Some of the designs in the store are mine. Some of them have been commissioned. Have I watched Band of Brothers? I have, a really long time ago, and I need to watch it again because you can never watch Band of Brothers too many times. Have I played World of Tanks Blitz? I have. I have played a few games of that, both on tablet and on PC. I really like PC games. So favorite war and military movie? We just watched Bridge on the River Kwai together as part of a Twitch movie night. That was really fun. But my favorite, all-time favorite, probably has to be Cross of Iron. I really like how gritty it was and personal it was. It has been a while since I've watched it, so I have time to watch it again. If you haven't, you're missing out. I recommend that one. Any ideas for hosting a documentary? I have done some live stuff with historians and like real historians. I don't consider myself a historian. I guess you could call me an amateur historian or something. I'm just a tank dork, right? I'm a dork. I'm not a professional researcher. I've only spent a little bit of time in archives, but I like to host the real thing and give them a voice and share their books and their work on my channels. And I normally do that on Twitch. You've seen some of the recorded stuff, like with Bruce Newsom. I'm going to be working with another historian for some more tank talk type videos pretty soon on the Soviet stuff, and that's going to be cool. Have I met Lindy Beige? No, we've never really missed each other at Tankfest a couple of times. I swing dance too, though. I do East Coast at like a professional level. I've been swing dancing since I was really little, and I think that would be fun. Do I like Land Rover Defenders? I love Land Rover Defenders. One of the coolest things about going to the UK for the first time is seeing Defenders all over the place. I love them. I hate that that line was discontinued, and the historical models are just awesome. They give me life. You know, Panzercorps, I haven't played Panzercorps 2 yet. I have that. Actually, I got it. So I got the DLC to code for that. And I haven't delved into it yet. Have I ever watched Overlord? No, not yet. How did I meet Hillary? So I think I met him for the first time at Militrax. That's the awesome event at the Overloon War Museum. If you haven't been to that yet, put it on your calendars. Make it go right. Start saving now and get out there. It's going to be in May. That was such a cool event. I went for the first time last spring, and it was great. And Hillary Doyle does a lot of stuff. He's a trustee with the Wield Foundation, who I'd met with, I think, the year before. If you guys know, he's another World of Tanks content creator named Harkonnen. He runs a blog, and he introduced me to the Wield Foundation for the first time. And it was such a treat to film with Hillary. The historian that I worked with on some of my videos, Ed Francis, was like, what if you brought Hillary out? So I didn't have the balls to ask him, but he asked. Hillary said yes. And so I put together some money, put together the fundraiser, and sponsored Hillary Doyle's trip out to Fort Benning. And we did our filming work. And the fact that the sound is borked makes me really sad. I changed my equipment, and I thought it would work better than the equipment I had, and it wasn't. And because I don't have like a portable laptop to do any video work on, I assumed it was okay until I got home. And then I got home, and I was like, so I'll have to do some more. That's all that means. But yeah, Harkonnen is awesome. He does a great job. Have I seen A Bridge Too Far? A long time ago. So how did I start working with Benning? I got reached out to by the group early on in, I think, 2018 to help them with some promo and stuff like that. It is not a full museum. They only have a few staff, like 2 or 3 of actual staff, and it is on base and was intended for a long time just to teach the soldier. It's not really intended for public viewing, although that is shifting, and there's going to be some open houses available starting next year in the new facility. I actually have a couple of videos about that and explaining kind of the progress of that, as well as the move. I have some awesome footage of them moving the ICE 3M over, and that's going to be my next video, and I'll probably put that up tomorrow. Yeah. So I love doing that sort of stuff. I know that one of the things that about museums is you have tank experts, and you have the historians and the curators. These are the guys that run the museums, and that's what they do. They've been doing that. They know a lot about that. And social media has been this thing that in the last 10 years has become vital. But if you don't have a lot of time to understand how it works and deal with it, it's kind of a pain. So a lot of museums kind of don't have the social media and content creation thing down. So I love to be able to help those guys, give them advice here and there about how to post, when to post, that you should post. It was really cool to go out to Arzanalin last year and do some filming with them. And now they've started doing a lot on their channel. I love to be able to just kind of help, even just in that way of kind of getting with these guys that run their places and being like, okay, if you don't have enough staff to do dedicated social media work, you can still stay involved. You can still get going. And that's been something cool just to, I like to help. I like to help how I can. Do I have German ancestry? I get asked that a lot. It's actually no. As a lot of Americans, I'm a bit of a mix. And so English, Irish, Norwegian, Portuguese, a little bit of African, probably some Italian and Greek in there. My grandma was an orphan, but I don't really know about that. And I haven't bothered doing one of those DNA tests yet. So do I like the T-84? It's a bit modern. I like the older tanks. They have more character. I get asked a lot how tall I am. I'm 5'10" or like 1.79 meters. So if you see me next to the chieftain or next to a tank or something like that, a lot of people are like, "Wow, is that's a tank's a lot smaller," because they expect me, I think, to be like more average female height. So the I get that question probably like a lot, and so there you have it. I would I can fit easily in a lot of tanks because I don't have like broad shoulders and my skull is very small compared to like adult grown males. So it's easier for me to fit in a lot of tanks. And I think that that may be a little bit misleading because they're like, "Oh wow, there's so much room. Like you can fit in that so easy." I'm like, but like a palm tree. So it's pretty simple. So I get asked a lot, what is my favorite tank museum? And I think that first off, I need to go to like more tank museums before I could like accurately make a choice. But honestly, each one brings something different to the table, and they all bring like so much of their own region's history to the table that it kind of isn't fair to compare. Like Bovington has like Tank Fest and Tiger Day and these amazing events, as well as a huge collection and a lot of other, like there's veteran stories and a lot of the personal materials and stuff that brings it all together. And then you have like a place, drivetanks.com, like in Texas, that has a lot of like, that's the most hands-on museum that you're going to get. You can drive those tanks, you can shoot those guns. That was amazing. Like I talked a lot about getting your hands on history and how important that I thought that was, especially for my generation who's losing the veteran voices in their families and only have like public school education and films and video games to get them into history. If you can get out there and see the history for yourself, that's cool. If you can get out there and drive the history and shoot the history, like I think that that prompts a lot of thought that is necessary, and it's going to be missing from today's classrooms. So ours in Nolan was awesome because it had a lot of the really obscure sort of Swedish prototype tanks and the Swedish sort of regimental history that I myself as an American probably never would have found out about unless I was really looking to specialize. I think that you should go to as many tank museums as you can. If you can travel, if you have that that luxury, so to speak, or you make that a priority for yourself, I think that it absolutely is worth it. Get out there and travel, see more museums, drink up more history, and see what they have to offer. I can't really say that I have a I can't really say that I have a favorite because they all bring so much to the table in different ways. And I absolutely love the privilege that I've had to be able to come out and do filming and get some extra access in the collections for that in order to help promote them and stuff like that. So I absolutely, I'm very, very thankful and very, very grateful for my community. Like all you guys are, you help me with my own like confidence in content creation and stuff like that. And you, inspire me to learn more and go out and film more and see more to bring it back, because I understand that not everybody can travel and not everybody has the time to get all into that and to go see it or to film it. Or so I'm proud to be able to bring it out to you guys in a way that's accessible. So there's everybody on YouTube that does history content brings a little bit more to the table. So I'm proud to be able to do it in my way. Have I visited the tank farm? No, not yet. That's another one I've missed out on. Why is a tank top called a tank top? Well, this is my tank top. You can see it's got a Panzer IV. Do I have my own line of designs? I do. I linked that a little earlier before, and that was one of our questions, but I don't mind to repeat myself because I know people show up kind of a little bit later. Enjoy serious history discussions and live streams. I would love to be able to bring experts to my channel so that it's accessible to folks. I love Spitfire Philly. I love Nick Moran, the Chieftain, and Milhivus. I love them both. They're all very, very competent at what they do, and I would absolutely love to showcase their knowledge. I don't have any like firm plans for that necessarily, but I really do like that. So I'm kind of putting my toes in that water, but I haven't jumped in. This channel used to be for gaming content. I don't know if you guys noticed. Some of you guys are newer. Like I said, I haven't really focused on YouTube specifically until about a year and a half ago, when I started to take it seriously. So it kind of turned from like World of Tanks content, which is where I started out with as a creator, over into just history. So just tanks, just museums, just historians and stuff like that. And I'll probably move my gaming stuff to another channel sort of completely separate if I bother with it at all, because I may not. I might just keep this history and just keep the gaming to Twitch. We'll see. But I'll take suggestions, or like I'll probably put a poll out for that. Because because there's a lot of different ways that you can go as a creator for that sort of thing. But I would love to make this one the history channel. I would love to be able to feature like frequently asked questions or discussions, or like a little bit of a round table between experts like that, because I think the position that I have as like an influencer isn't necessarily to teach, because I'm not the expert, right? Like I said, I have a background in engineering first, and then in mental health. I never had a degree in history or anything like this. Not that you can't learn without a degree, not that you can't teach without a degree, but there's a lot of people out there that do that. That's their specialization, that's their expertise. And I would rather be able to share my platform and put the spotlight on them so they can say it their way, instead of me trying to pretend to do that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like my focus as a content creator. So I'll take a couple other questions. That's all sort of the general questions that I get. I'm going to very quickly, very quickly edit this so that all this little conversational stuff is clipped out and just the questions, because I wrote down the stuff that I get the most here in the comments, on my social media, and on live on Twitch. I have driven a tank. I got to drive my first armored vehicle out at drivetanks.com this summer. I got to drive their Stug 3. They have a Stug 3D. That's very, very rare. That's one of 3 left, and it's the only one running. And it was restored by a gentleman out in England. You may know John Phillips and his restoration projects. You can find that on Facebook. And that was a really, really cool experience. And that's one of my next videos. Expect that next week. With like the driving perspective with the sticks, and as well as the camera on top, and to show some of the stuff that have happened. So I really, really liked that experience, and I only recommend that. Yeah, it was a Stug life. That's all right. So that was really, really meaningful for me. I've gotten to ride around on a bunch of different tanks and crawl around in them and crawl around on them, but being able to actually drive one is something that is usually reserved for the folks who served, and for the very, very dedicated volunteers in these different museums. So I highly recommend being able to go out to a place like that where you can see them in motion. Arsenalen does live stuff. I know Bovington does live stuff. The Munster Tank Museum does their Stahl auf der Heide, and possibly some other things as well. There's the Military Museum in Austria, in Linz, has a tank one. I think that's usually like June 6th weekend. I forget what that one's called. Like Wheels and Tracks or something like this. If you can get out to one of those, it's awesome. Like, if you can get out to one of those and see that in motion, I think that it adds a lot of depth to the understanding of history. I can only recommend it. Have I ever hit my head inside a tank? Yes. I feel like I almost put my eye out on, like, there's like an iron sight on the commander's cupola on the Panther turret that they put on the Panther 2 hull. And I was going down into the tank, and I slammed the shit out of my forehead. I can understand why they don't want to put helmets on, for sure. Keep those on. I have like a bajillion bruises and stuff like that every time I go out. Tank bites, you know. That's how, like, my grandma used to say, you know, when you were a little kid and like the boys pick on you and the girls pick on you. Little bears say it with a slap. I think maybe tanks say it with a slap too. Yeah. It's definitely different for myself, and as an enthusiast, as just a tank dork, as I don't have the experience as somebody who has served, there's just some things that I'll never understand. There's just some things, that knowledge that I can hear about and listen to, but I'll never have as my own. But I think that being able to get out and see it and hear it, and maybe even drive it, maybe even shoot it, in the case of drivetanks.com, that adds a lot to the connection and the depth of understanding in history, and it's enriched myself a lot in my path for knowledge. So would really, I do, yeah, Hanukkah, I have firepower right here. Richard P. Hanukkah is absolutely like the prophet of American tanks. It's one of the first tank books that I got. I love heavy tanks. It's got one of my favorites right off the front. And I have a couple of his others. I have Patton as well, and I'm working on getting some more, as well as a whole smattering of Hilary Doyle's books, Stephen Zaloga's books, and Bruce Newsom's Tiger series. Will I be doing more on Nicholas Moore? Good question. I get that one a lot. So those videos were done as part of the World of Tanks like production team. That's their film crew. That was their thing. That's why it's over on their channel. He is an employee of theirs, right? I am not. I'm a sponsored player, but Like I don't get a paycheck. Like I'm not with them, right? Like it's a sponsorship. It's a sponsorship that I love, and I love their team, and I would love to do more videos. But it's like their marketing content, so it's kind of up to them and their marketing stuff. If you want to see some more, go comment on it and share it and stuff. Like if they see a lot of engagement, they see interest in the game as a result, that appeals to them to do some more. Coronavirus obviously threw a huge wrench in whatever like museum and filming plans that they might have had anyways. But let them know that you liked it and that it's useful, because people want to share. Have I ever fired a tank's main gun? No. I did, however, witness, and I have it on film in 4K with surround sound, the Sherman out at drive tanks as someone else fired it. I understand. I generally, that's another thing that people ask a lot, like, oh, why aren't you in your own videos? I don't really like being in front of the camera. I'm kind of a shy person, and it's unnatural for me to be the focus of attention. As I understand, like, I know it doesn't seem the same, like, oh, you're a streamer, why is this different? It just is. I don't know how to tell you. It just is. Like YouTube and the live thing is very, very different. I'm super nervous to be on camera. If you couldn't tell, at like the Bovington videos, the videos that I have with the Chieftain, if I'm speaking at like a million miles an hour and just making puns because I'm like afraid, it's unnatural for me to be in front of the lens. I prefer to be behind it, but as I understand it, having energy and presentation abilities is also valuable in its way. So I know I'm practicing. I'm getting better at it. And I really am thankful for the support of my community, like egging me on and supporting me and helping it out. Like if you guys just share my content, like if you dig it, you dig it. You don't necessarily have to like subscribe and like and comment, but if you just dig it, when my videos are successful, it makes me feel more confident and it makes me want to do some more. So I'm shy. Like everybody got bullied when they was a kid. I got bullied when I was a kid. I don't like being the center of attention. I don't like performing. Like no, getting in front of people and singing like I'd rather. I'll probably throw up. I thought I was gonna throw up after doing a live show at Bovington at the Tank Fest last summer. There was like a World of Tanks variety show, and I was on stage with a couple other players like doing stuff, and I was so nervous afterwards. Like my hands were shaking, and I genuinely thought I was gonna throw up. Like being on camera is really scary. This one is live, Fire Abend. This one's live, and I'm gonna make a video from it right after this. So yeah, I get a little bit better at it every time. I get better at it every time. So the community and all of that helps me a lot. So I'm really, really thankful for you guys. So we're gonna be doing some more. Expect some more Tank Talk videos this week, more footage from Tanky Adventures, and some more of the updates from the collection out at Fort Benning as they move into their awesome new facility. If you guys aren't following them, let me go find that. So if you guys aren't following them, y'all on Facebook, because that is where you'll see a lot of the updates. I love like following tank museums and following what they're up to. And let me see. There we go. I will share that because I was out there last week. They're making some awesome progress, and I get asked about these tanks all the time and how it's going and when they're going to be live, and he answers those too. You're absolutely right, Ivan. Practice makes perfect. It just takes like a little bit of bravery to get over that first hurdle of like, no, I don't want to do this. Like I got like the sweats before I went live on this today just because it's new. So yeah. Dead Wolf, exactly. You just gotta be persistent. I do have Facebook. Let me go find all my social media if you guys aren't following already. I have the whole gamut of stuff. I tend to post a little bit of different stuff on each one. Twitter tends to be like all like the stream news when I'm going live, as well as some tank adventure stuff. Facebook is tank adventures, but also a lot that other museums are doing. I kind of like to share kind of what's going on in tank world. And YouTube obviously is going to be video content and things like that. So, it's Barb. Okay, cool. Good to see you here. Have I thought of doing more walkarounds of modern tanks? Yes. Yeah, I have some that I haven't posted. And the walkarounds with just music were actually started with modelers in mind to be able to see some of the fine details of tanks that you don't get to see every day. There's a lot of old photos and like grainy photos, and every so often somebody will post something fresh, but there's not a whole lot that's like close up and at different angles and natural lighting. So for my modelers out there, I don't model because I don't have the attention span. I don't want to mess anything up. I would rather buy a model that somebody else makes so I can have like a baby tank on my desk. But it's not really like my kind of hobby. But I absolutely love seeing the dioramas that other people do. I'm like a fan of modelers, but I don't do it myself. And so I thought of I have, yeah, there's a Hago video actually that I have, the Hago walk around that I do need to post at some point. For sure. Yeah, the Japanese things are interesting. The running one out at Tankfest was incredibly cool to see. Yes, you're right. It takes a lot of patience to model. So I respect the people that do it, and I respect the people that are very, very good at it. And I like to support that by just finding footage to help. So yeah, it'll be fun. I did try one model. I remember when I was a little kid, my first one was an F-18, and I was like 9. And it was the one that you glue, and I was like, you have to glue the joystick on to like the pilot and then glue him to his chair. I was like, okay. And because it was imperfect, y'all ever have that thing where if you can't do it perfectly, you can't do it at all? Well, getting perfect at things only takes it takes persistence and it takes practice, but I was kind of discouraged because that one was too hard. I'd have to try something simpler. I'd have to try it again. I tried one of the tank tune builds. I think I probably have the box around here somewhere. I had like a KV2, like one of the chibi ones. But yeah, exactly. It gets real complicated real fast. All right, good night, Barb. Take care. Yeah, you getting past the perfection brain block would be impossible. So, yep, perfectionism. It's the worst. You can't be a perfectionist and expect to get anywhere with that. You'll just discourage yourself. You just gotta be brave and be ready to fuck up. Be ready. Just like, okay, this is not going to be perfect. I might hate it, but we're going to keep going because every time you do something and you hate it, you can learn, right? So, same thing with modeling, but I never quite pushed past that. But I do love to see that, and I'm in a couple modeling groups just so I can see other people's art. But yeah, so that's kind of I can sit here with you guys and just talk all day. That's super easy for me to do, and I recommend if you guys want to hang out. That is done very well on stream, where I'm more sort of naturally able to answer questions and do stuff. I don't know if you guys use Twitch. It used to be just for gaming, but it's a lot of other things now. So I'll actually live stream museum content. I'll live stream going to the gun range. That was cool. The internet wasn't good, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do that again at that range, but I got to shoot my first grand. I was bruised for a week. I didn't want to take a photo of the bruise because it's kind of over here, and I kind of like to be modest because it's about the history, not about my body. That's another question I get is, when are you going to do another pinup calendar? When are you going to take photos next to that tank in a bikini? And that's not really like what it's about. I do understand that there's women that do that. It's a choice that you make as a female creator in any space. And I think that doing that would take away from the history. It would take away from like the gravity of it. And putting my focus on the history instead of on me is kind of the point of the whole channel and the whole thing of what I do. It's fair enough to just take a bunch of selfies with a view down your shirt, and you can get a lot of numbers that way. In short shorts and with your belly showing and all of that. As a woman, that's definitely your choice. As a woman, you definitely get a lot of encouragement to do that. And I have no interest in doing that because I think that it takes away not necessarily like that being sexy is bad, but it is a different focus than on the history. And I like to just be an enthusiast, and I like to make it about the tanks, make it about the history, make it about the people who served alongside them, in front of them, behind them, instead of myself, because that's cheap. That's just cheap. I'm just going to say it. That's just cheap. Not about that. So at no point am I going to be doing any like sexy themed anything. You're gonna see shirts like this. You're gonna see collared shirts all the way up. You're not gonna see my belly button or no butt cheeks or anything like that, because it's about the history. And I understand that I'm female, and I'm just gonna be me. It's just gonna be me. And people can have their thoughts. I'm not the thought police. Like you can think females are attractive being themselves, but that's not. I'm not gonna make that the focus. I'm not gonna go on that. Like, I'm kind of just a dork. Let me just be a dork. Like. That's not my thing. Want to keep it about the history around here because that's what I love and that's what I think is worthwhile. Google big boob, you'll get 2 billion results. I don't need to do that here. So I love to be able to support museums with fundraisers. I do that through my stream with gaming in a very normal way. And we'll just keep at it like that. So I really respect you guys for respecting that. I'm very thankful for that. So for the folks that kind of don't get to see that that's what I'm about, that's kind of why I have to mention it. Why do I have a fascination with German tanks? I don't know. I kind of like a lot of different tanks. I'm obsessed with the M60. I'm obsessed with the M103. The IS-3 is one of the coolest tanks ever built, in my personal opinion. Like, some of the Soviet heavy tanks are incredibly cool. The Soviet tank destroyers are cool. The Cold War era, the KPZ is very cool. So, I like a lot of tanks. I'm obsessed with the Swedish tanks, the S tank. Being able to see that actually move, like, have you guys seen the video that I have where it's showing its suspension? Oh my god, this tank is so cool. So cool. I want to go to Parola, the Finnish tanks. Like, I gotta get out there and see more tanks. There's a bajillion places to learn from, and I have so much still to learn and get involved with, and I'm gonna do it in my way. So the more that I learn, it's gonna be at like my pace, right? Not an expert, not a historian. We're not gonna like get into a lot of the stuff. There's other creators that do that, and I don't feel the need to try to do that or try to be that. I'm just gonna stay myself and kind of dig at learning in my way and at my pace and share what I get to find. And my favorite thing to do is find the experts instead of trying to pretend to be one, which I've never done, by the way. I've never been out here like, hey, it's me, Sophie Land, the tank expert. I like to put my spotlight on the ones that do know, and I'm always willing to do that for people who kind of respect that I come from the gaming space, respect that I'm a novice, respect that I'm here for other novices to learn, because I don't really feel like people who dig history because of gaming instead of modeling or film, like in the older generations, just because you like video games doesn't mean that like your interest is less or that you have less value to kind of keeping the whole scene alive. And people, experts in the field that welcome younger generations, even if they have a gaming background as their interest to start with, I am always happy to have them on my channel and to help them share what they know on my platform, because I've learned a lot that way. So I look forward to being able to sort of focus people like Mr. Kogan, Mr. Hilary Doyle. That's been fantastic, and I love being able to share those. So once again, here's sort of these. I do have Instagram on there too, I forget. Instagram is more like kind of like in the moment videos of stuff, tanks, and then like artsy selfies if I feel like that. So Insta is my least favorite. I'm still learning kind of how it works, but tank expert has a nice ring to it. But I mean, be a tank expert, you kind of like look at Nick Moran. Like he's been not only serving but also in that sphere for as long as I've been alive. I'm 27, right? To be a tank expert takes a lot longer than I've been at it, and I don't feel like I need to take that spot. I really like being an online creator. So those are my social media links. This really quickly, I worked in the oil field, Fricky. This really quickly got to be really long. I love being live. God, this is so easy. This is so fun. I love just seeing you guys and like talking to you guys. Would I consider a collab with the guys at World War II Armor? Yeah. I know a couple people that like work and volunteer with them, and they're awesome. I wish I could like. It sounds like that crazy cat girl, right? Like, I just want to have every cat. I'm like, I wish I could visit and help every tank museum. I want to help every tank. You know, I have a time restraint usually with my regular job, and now we have this coronavirus thing going on. Fun, so it's gonna be a bit delayed, but eventually I want to get out there. I want to get out there as much as I can. Tank Mechanic Simulator, I did play, and I don't feel like it's accurate enough to be a simulator. Like, the fact you have to buy front, middle, and rear tracks is a little bit like, really? It's not quite accurate enough to be a believable simulator. Like, so you sandblast and needle gun? Really? But it also isn't fun enough to be like a game. So the novelty of it kind of wore off really fast. I work in mental health, so I moved out of the oil field a few years ago, and I work as a counselor now. But due to coronavirus, kind of been off and full-time creating, and that is always an option for the future if I like this enough. So if you guys want to see more content, continue supporting, and we'll see to go full-time. So can I do Girls and Panzer cosplay? I'd really rather not dress up like a high school schoolgirl. I'm no longer a high school girl, and I'm not really interested in high school girls. And I don't really want to dress up like a high school girl because of the response that will occur when I dress up like a high school girl. I do understand that people do like Girls in Panzer, and I don't think that there's anything directly not okay with that. But that's not really my thing. I thought about cosplaying as tanks, though. I thought that would be really funny. Tank girl, I guess, works sort of naturally, considering I went ham with my hair. I'm a dork, okay? And I rewrote the song Memory from the musical Cats as like a parody for the musical Tanks, and I thought Grizabella should be a tiger one, and I wrote that on it. Maybe someday I'll dress up as a tiger one and sing it. I don't know. That'll have to be some kind of like, that'll have to be some kind of crazy milestone for a fundraiser or something. Like, I'm not just gonna do that for fun. I'm not just gonna do that stuff for fun. But anyways, nearing on an hour now. I don't necessarily have an exact streaming schedule, but I will tell you, Saturday I'm going to be playing some War Thunder. That you don't see very often. I'm going to be playing some War Thunder as a charity for a plane restoration project. If you don't know the Gulf Coast Wing, check it out. And that's going to be awesome. So I'm actually going to do some. I have to practice and actually learn how to fly in War Thunder because I've only played the tank mode, and partnering up with some friends to do that and try to raise some money for the good folks. I've raised probably close to $10,000 for historical stuff and other charities over the last few years, and I want to just keep going with that. So I'm going to be playing this weekend, and I'm probably going to be playing a lot this weekend because there's some special stuff going on. So I'll be live a lot. Hello, Ed. I hope you're doing well. The realistic or arcade realistic, probably. If people want us to play arcade, we probably can, but like it's for charity, it's for fun, so I'll kind of do whatever. Whatever is entertaining is fun. So yeah, Judge, yeah. I'm not like unfamiliar with that concept as a World of Tanks like main. So can I sign it? So my shop is through like a merch shop and they do all the production and the shipping. You'd have to bring it to me at an event, and I can't really promise I'm going to be anywhere yet, but I'd be happy to. Yes, but that's the only way that I know how to do that so far. But yeah, anyways, I think that kind of covers a lot of it. Again, I really want to thank you guys for being awesome. I want to thank you guys for your encouragement. I want to thank you guys for like digging it and digging the content, both live on Twitch and here on YouTube. It's going to continue. So got some more stuff going up this weekend. I'm going to go finish a video and finish editing up this because I'll post this. I'm going to cut out all my like puns and looking at the chat and just kind of the questions and stuff like that. So that'll be fun to do really fast because you got to do it fast on YouTube Editor. I'll have this up. So thank you guys for your continued interest and your support. I'm going to try to do something like this again in the future. I'm not sure. I will share again with you my, there's some of that. Let me grab the Instagram. Let me grab the Twitch. Because I know a lot of you guys that have been following me recently aren't really like into the Twitch thing and don't get to see me. And I was like, I don't think they know me. Like, I don't think they know what I'm about and like what I dig. So you guys have a lot of questions and I'm happy to answer them. Will it be a regular thing? I don't know about regular, but we'll see. We'll kind of see. So I will see you guys soon. And do you guys want to come to Discord too? Do you guys use Discord? Here's Discord. We have a lot of tank talk there and stuff like that. A motorcycle? I've never driven a motorcycle. I've only ridden on one like 1 or 2 times in my life. So I would be willing to try both BMW and Harley. Both of those sound great. Is there a way to get something in Germany or Europe? I've never done anything like that before. You have to understand, like, I'm not like a big creator. I'm not like famous. I don't know how that works. Like, I just haven't set anything up like that. But if you're interested, I'll genuinely, from some of the responses about like signed merch and stuff, I'm gonna like look into the best way to do that. If that's what you dig. So, once again, thank you guys for your support. Thank you for 40,000 subs here on Twitch. It's awesome to be a part of the community, and I'm starting to like it more and get more confidence, and I appreciate you guys. And please send me like suggestions for what you want to see. I obviously can't get to all of it all the time, but I love to hear the different feedback. So you guys rock, and I look forward to seeing some more of your responses and some more of your stories and some more of your questions. And thanks everybody again in the chat who has served and who shares their service and the stories, because I see a lot of really cool stories in my comments. And I really like to see that, because that's what I think matters. Like, people out there like sharing how it was with the real thing. So I want to say a special thank you for the folks in my community who have served and share that, because it means a lot to me. So I will see you guys very soon. Stay awesome. I have to go get busy right now in this video, and I will see you later. So take care.